With that dropshipping store, I managed to generate over $2 million worth of sales with solely that product.
Hey everyone, it's Sean again from SaleHoo. In today's video, we get to interview Santiago Rojas, also known as 𝐸𝐿𝐝𝐿 Santiago, and he is a seven-figure dropshipper, and we get to pick his brain and see how he grew his seven-figure stores with Facebook ads. First, can you give us a bit of background on your e-commerce journey? What was the process for you to get into dropshipping?
Well, yeah, of course, back then I was 18 years old and I didn't have the money to invest into Facebook ads. So really the first thing I did was, of course, doing my research, trying to get as much knowledge as possible from what I found on YouTube, on Google. That was like the first thing I did. Then the second thing I did was, of course, I needed to launch my own store. So what I did was actually finding an investor because I didn't have the money to invest into Facebook ads. And that's pretty much like the biggest investment you need to go through when you want to do drop shipping. I found the investor. She actually trusted me. She trusted the process. She trusted the business. And that's how I managed to launch my first dropshipping store. And thanks to this dropshipping store, I actually managed to scale it up to the point that I managed to have my own capital to then launch my own successful dropshipping stores with my own capital.
And could you share with us your biggest successes and your biggest setbacks in getting into dropshipping? Maybe you can even share some details of the how much money you made for this particular year or this particular month.
Of course. Like, of course, the first store, it's always going to be one that it's going to be special for you because it's going to be your first successful store. It wasn't the most successful store, but it was definitely a dropshipping store that gave me a lot of knowledge, and more than knowledge, it gave me confidence, and it gave me confidence to keep investing into the business. Specifically with this dropshipping store, we launched it back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. We launched a pet product. I don't know if you know one of these fluffy beds for dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually the product that we tested out. It actually performed really good. And we managed to scale up the store to $200,000 in revenue, sorry. But the investor, she decided to take out the money from the business because she needed to take the money for a different business. So then I had to scale down the store. And I took the money that I generated with this store and invested into my second dropshipping store. It was actually, I don't know if you see back here, the back stretcher. This was actually the product that I found back in 2019, and I started to test it out in 2020. With that dropshipping store, I managed to generate over $2 million worth of sales with solely that product. And of course, thanks to the pandemic, because actually e-commerce was one of the industries that got benefited from the pandemic. Of course, everyone was kept at home. You had to buy everything online, and dropshipping was obviously a business and an industry that got benefited thanks to the pandemic. And during this year, 2020, 2021, it's the point where I managed to scale up my dropshipping business to the moon, to the point where I'm able to generate over 6 figures per month, and of course got to the point of generating the 7-figure markup that everyone is trying to get to when doing e-commerce.
Let's move on to the next segment of the interview, which is product research for finding winning products for Facebook. Since you're an expert on Facebook, could you let us know what your product criteria is? How do you figure out that is a product that you should be selling on Facebook?
Of course, that's actually a really good question because I don't know if you see my logo right here, but this is one of my businesses that I currently have. It is a dropshipping academy. I'm currently mentoring over 130 students. And one of the biggest advices that I tell each and every one of them, it's the fact that they need to focus on finding a winning product. There's 5 factors that I analyze every time. First, my product needs to solve a problem. It needs to have a wow factor. It needs to have a high perceived value aspect. Many beginners, they tend to overlook this factor. But why would someone buy a very expensive product if it looks cheap? That's related to the high perceived value aspect. Then the 4th factor, it's definitely your product needs to be difficult to get in local stores, because why would someone buy something from a random online store if they can go and buy it easily from any local store? And of course, the 5th and most important one is the fact that the product needs to be trending. Now that leads me into like my rule of thumb to find winning products every time. And it's the fact that If the product I find it's not trending, I'm not going to get into this product. Why is this important? Because if you're able to find other dropshippers that are currently selling the same product, of course, trying to be careful with the fact that there's saturation. But if you find those dropshippers already selling the product that you want to sell, and those dropshippers are performing well with this product, that's like the biggest insight that you can take to find and select a product and guarantee that you're going to have success with it. That's pretty much my criteria. Of course, I use different platforms to help me out to get access to the best and the most accurate data. But that's pretty much what I do with every single platform that I use.
You mentioned how, you focus on products that are trending as a proof of concept that they'll work for dropshipping. What do you think about the idea that you should be starting a store that you're passionate about? Do you think dropshippers should follow that advice, or more so follow the advice of finding a product that is proven to sell?
That's a really good question, because actually many of my students ask me this every time. And look, every time what I tell them is, look, if you want to be successful right away with dropshipping, then go with the easy route. The easy route is definitely going with trending products. But if you want to be successful in a long term, having like a proven long-term business that's actually not just dropshipping, but actually a real brand, definitely fall in love with your passion, with your niche, with a certain niche, with something that you enjoy doing. Like a quick example, if you are someone that goes to the gym, that likes to work out, of course, the fitness niche and the gym niche is going to be a sweet niche for you. So go and create a dropshipping store that you can advertise a fitness product, right? But of course, if you want to be successful right away with dropshipping, the easiest route is to definitely go with a trending product. But that's a really interesting question, and that's actually where I think dropshipping is going to shift in the future. I think that more and more people are going to start to create brands based on their passions. And of course, with the help of the dropshipping business model, they're going to be able to make them successful.
Right. That's very insightful. So that's the end of the product research segment. Let's move on to marketing and scaling. Let's talk about testing a product, seeing whether it works. What is your testing strategy to find out whether a dropshipping product works on Facebook?
You know what? Thank you for asking this question, because that's actually one of the other advices that I give my students. There's like a very common belief on the dropshipping industry. Many gurus tend to say like you should test a lot of different products at the same time if you want to get to the right product. And I actually think that this is completely false. I actually think that the way to go over product testing, it's actually doing a proper product research, like a real product research, really spending time on validating with as much data as possible if the product that you want to sell is really a winning product. And that's what I do. I don't do product testing. I really spend a lot of time on doing product research. That's actually what I do. I validate that my winning products are actually winning products. I guarantee myself that those winning products are going to generate me a lot of sales if I launch my dropshipping store, of course, with a good design, of course, with a good video ad strategy. But I don't do product testing. Of course, what I do is video ad testing. I launch different audiences at the same time. I launch different video ads, different creatives at the same time, because that's the part where you actually need to figure out which audiences are actually going to buy the product from your store, which ads, which creatives are going to be the ones that are going to engage the most with those winning audiences. That's actually what I do, not really product testing.
Right, right. And how do you go about structuring your campaign though? Like, do you go with an ABO, a CBO, and what metrics do you look at?
Okay, so I initially start with ABO campaigns. Of course, there's going to be many people that are going to tell me like, yeah, but Facebook, the algorithm is so powerful that you can go right away with CBO, or even with one of these new advantage campaign budget, one of those new campaigns that Facebook launched not so long ago this year. But I'm going to be very honest, ABO is going to be the best for testing out, because with ABO, you can guarantee that you're going to give every single audience the right amount of spend. Of course, maybe your results at the beginning are not going to be the most promising results, but that's not what we aim for at the beginning. What we aim for is to getting as much data as possible to really find those winning audiences for the scaling phase. So specifically to answer your question, I definitely start first with ABO campaigns, 10 different ad sets targeting different interests. And inside every ad set, I put 3 different ads. Initially, what I do is testing the same video ad with 3 different scroll stoppers. Then as soon as I find those winning ads and those winning audiences, what I do is, let's say if an ad set got 3-4 sales at a profitable rate, what I do is duplicating them 3 times inside the same ABO campaign. And if any of those duplicates get another 3 sales, that's like a proven concept for me that I can take them into my scaling phase, into my CBO campaigns. Now, to answer like which metrics do I focus on? Of course, first it's CTR, CPC. That's going to be more related to the video ad, saying if the video ad is definitely engaging with the with the audience. But of course, cost per add to cart, cost per checkout initiated, and of course, cost per result and ROAS. Now, the thing with cost per result and ROAS is that after iOS 14, for those that don't know, in 2021, Apple launched iOS 14, which was a big update for advertisers, for digital advertisers. Due to this update, Facebook can't really track properly the things that people are doing on the websites outside the platform. And that's definitely something that affected a lot the way you analyze your metrics, because of course, maybe you got 10 sales in one day, but then on your Facebook Ads Manager, you only see 5 sales. And that's definitely something that it's going to mess up how you analyze your ads. And in this case, what you need to do is analyzing those top of the funnel metrics, which are going to be CTR, CPC, CPM, to take those decisions.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned something interesting, which is analyzing ads. Now, a lot of dropshippers, when their ads don't perform well, they blame it on the product and they say, oh, maybe my product is just not a winner. How do you go about troubleshooting or figuring out what went wrong?
Great question again. That's actually very common for not only for experienced dropshippers, but this is actually very common on beginners. When a beginner or when someone's starting out with dropshipping, they launch their Facebook ads and they let the campaign run for 2 days, 3 days, and they only got a sale or not even a sale. They're gonna blame it directly on the product. They're gonna say, oh, this is not a winning product. And maybe it is, maybe the product is not a winning product. But of course, there's 3 things I always tell my students that they need to focus on if they want to be successful with dropshipping. First, the winning product. Second, the video ad. And third, the online store. If you have those 3 things on point, you're going to be able to generate sales. So you got to analyze those 3 things. You got to analyze it. First, definitely your product is a winning product. That's why I told you before that I really put a lot of time into doing product research. Second, if first one, it's already covered, if definitely my product is a winning product, now I need to strive to create the highest converting video ad possible to really engage those winning audiences. And third, if I know that 1 and 2 are already covered, then I need to strive to have a super high converting online store. If my online store isn't a high converting online store, then I'm going to lose a lot of potential customers. If you have those 3 things covered, then you should be able to analyze properly your sales funnel.
For scaling, how do you go about scaling your store? So you found your winning product. Let's say you've proven that it sells through, testing it on Facebook. How do you go about scaling your store?
After testing my different audiences, and let's say that I found my winning audiences, my winning ads, pretty much what I do is putting more budget towards those winning audiences. Specifically, how do I do it? First thing I do is taking them into CBO campaigns. So I would take like 5 exact duplicates from my winning audience into a CBO campaign. If it performs well at $200 per day during 3 days, I will start to scale up hard that audience by duplicating those campaigns at a higher budget. That's actually the easiest way to scale up and the quickest way to scale up your dropshipping store. Of course, at the same time, you need to know that you need to be launching your retargeting campaigns, your warm audience retargeting campaign, your hot audience retargeting campaign, because those campaigns are definitely going to help you out to pull more people into your sales funnel. That's how I do it at the beginning. Then until I get to the point where, I don't know, I'm spending in between $1,000 to $5,000 per day on Facebook ads, I will start to consider to launch maybe a few Google ads. Google ads is definitely a good way to scale up more your dropshipping store. If Facebook is getting harder and harder, because the more you scale up, the more budget you put into Facebook ads, the lower the profit margin is going to get. So definitely Google ads, it's a good way to start to overcome those little setbacks during the process.
Right, right. And I think Facebook is a bit strict with dropshippers. Like they demand that they have fast shipping times, or that could affect their, ad account could get banned. So how do you go about finding the right supplier that will offer fast shipping times for customers?
Oh, that's a good question. Suppliers, of course, it's one of the main concerns about people getting into dropshipping. There's two big platforms that we use every time, but there's platforms like SaleHoo, of course, that are very big and very common into beginners that everyone can use. Everyone can start to use SaleHoo right now if they want to fulfill their orders. But of course, every time you get more and more orders, every time your dropshipping store starts to get known into the dropshipping industry, there's going to be private agents that are going to start to reach out to you over your email or over your Facebook account, over your Instagram account. And that's pretty much how you get to those like big suppliers. But besides that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, I mean, at the beginning, of course, you don't have a big dropshipping store. You need to start low, and big platforms such as SaleHoo are definitely the right way to go at the beginning.
My question now is, how do beginners get around these ad account bans? Because Facebook has been banning ad accounts left and right. How do they sort of work around it?
The way to go around it, it's first, like the most straightforward answer I can give people right here is try to open a business in your country, or I mean, if you live in the States, you can go and create an LLC. So you can actually register your business and connect it to your ads account. Once you register your business to your ads to your Facebook ads account, this is literally telling Facebook that you're a legit business, right? Of course, when we do drop shipping, we're actually legit businesses. But just as you said before, Facebook try to cover up themselves with drop shippers because they know that drop shipping times are not the best ones. In many cases, this is like little kids doing drop shipping, and they're not serving their customers the way they need to be served. That's the first strategy I can give people right now. Second strategy is answer your comments every time. Actually post on your Facebook's page. If Facebook sees that you're not posting and your Facebook page is not active, that's going to be suspicious activity for them to ban the account. If you're not answering comments, that's going to be suspicious activity, because you need to behave as a real brand. That's what you need to understand, that you need to behave as a real brand. And that's the best way to cover up yourself from getting your account banned.
Interesting. Right. Now, the next question I have is on the starting capital to start a dropshipping business. So if you were starting over and you only had $500, what would you do? Or would you not start with $500? Would you save up a bit more?
Definitely, I would save a bit more. I'm gonna be very straightforward with everyone here. It's impossible to start with $500 in 2023. It's not possible to invest into Facebook ads and be successful with this. That's the reality. If someone tells you that you can launch your dropshipping store with $500, obviously using Facebook ads, maybe if you want to use organic ads, definitely you can go and do it. But with Facebook ads, it's impossible. What would I do? First, what I do, it's definitely investing more into my knowledge. And for my first dropshipping store, maybe what I would do or try to do, it's launching my first dropshipping store with a organic ads strategy with TikTok. That's actually one of the strategies that many teenagers are currently using, launching organic ads with TikTok instead of using Facebook ads. Of course, thanks to the power of the TikTok algorithm, you can leverage it to try to get your videos go viral, showcasing how your product works. And in some cases, it has actually worked. That's the thing that I would do right now. That's the path that I would take if I have only $500. I would save those $500 and try to earn a bit more doing other things until I get to the point of having at least $1,000. $1,000, it's definitely the sweet spot to be able to test properly your different audiences and your different ads and be able to find those winning audiences to then give some attraction to your store, so your dropshipping store can start to generate some cash flow, so you can keep investing, so you can scale up your dropshipping store for the future.
Interesting. So $1,000 to start with Facebook ads. So just the last question to wrap up the interview. It's on how do you think dropshipping or e-commerce will change over the next 1 to 2 years, and how do you advise all e-commerce entrepreneurs to adapt to that change?
Well, that's a very good question, because I'm hearing a lot of people saying that dropshipping is going to die, and that's completely false, because dropshipping is just a way to do e-commerce. And e-commerce, it's more alive than ever. So dropshipping, it's here to stay, that's for sure, because dropshipping is just a way to do e-commerce. Now, it's also true that it's getting more and more competitive. There's more and more people getting to know about dropshipping, getting to launch their own dropshipping stores. And of course, there's not as much winning products for everyone. There's going to be more and more people testing the same winning product at the same time. My advice for everyone that wants to start to do dropshipping right now and in the next 1 and 2 years is to really focus and strive themselves to build a real brand with their dropshipping stores. Instead of just focusing on generating money as fast as possible, try to generate real brands and connect with your customers. That's what's going to make your store differentiate from other dropshipping stores that are selling the same product.
Anyway, so that's the interview, Santiago. I'm sure that our viewers will get a lot of value. And by the way, Santiago, do you want to mention any channels that you have that they can follow you on?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐶𝐞𝐨. I also have my own dropshipping academy. This is completely different to having just a course. I'm not selling a course. I'm actually selling a real one-to-one mentorship program where just for $30 a month, I take people from zero to pro dropshippers that generate a lot of dollars every single month. Instagram at 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐶𝐞𝐨, and of course, hit me up in my DMs if you're interested in joining the dropshipping academy.
Anyway, that's it for the interview, Santiago. Thanks for hopping on it.
Thank you, Sean. Great time with you here today.